I have to say this up front. The professional organizing industry is keeping secrets from you. You may have seen them on TV, or even hire one to come to your home charging $100 to $150 per hour. Their neat speak gently and bring a few clever organizing tricks. But did you notice, no matter how often they come, your house never feels changed? I'm not saying they're useless. I'm just saying they don't teach you the most essential thing. My name is Frank, and I'm no longer in this industry. I stand with you, older adults living among memories, belongings, and emotions left unpacked. I've worked alongside more than 30 professional organizers, and I discovered something I can't keep quiet about anymore. They all use the same 4 powerful psychological strategies, but they never share them publicly. Not in videos, not in books, not in training courses. Why? Because if you knew these 4 secrets, you wouldn't need them as much. You could do it on your own. You wouldn't need more shelves. We wouldn't need color-coded bins. Wouldn't need a 6-session package. You'd know what to keep, what to let go, and how to let go without pain. I once asked a professional I deeply respect, "Why don't you teach these techniques to your clients?" She looked at me and said softly, "Frank, if everyone knew how to let go deeply, we'd only get called in for 1 session per house." I understood. But I don't agree, because I believe older adults deserve to take back ownership of their homes without depending on anyone. Today, I'll share each of those secrets with you, clearly, practically, and simply. I'm not promising your life will change in 24 hours, but I do promise, if you hear all 4 secrets, you'll no longer be afraid to open your closet. You'll stop putting off those corners of your home, and you'll no longer feel like you're living in the past. And to help you picture it, I'll share a few small stories. Stories about Agnes, 74 years old, who spent 40 years in a house she now lives in alone. Not to talk about Agnes, but so you can see Agnes is many of us. Like you, like me, like anyone who's ever kept something, not because they needed it, but because they weren't ready to let go. Let's begin with the first secret. The one nearly every organizer knows, but never says aloud. You're judging your stuff based on the past when what you need to ask is, does this item fit the future version of me? We'll go deep into each of those secrets, slowly, clearly, and highly practical. No theory, no fluff. Not organizing for beauty, but for true emotional relief. Now, what about you? Have you ever hired someone to help declutter, only to end up back where you started? Or maybe you tried doing it yourself, but gave up halfway, stuck with too many. I'll deal with it later items. If you have, share the moment you felt most overwhelmed while decluttering in the comments below. I read every word, because I believe the first thing you share is often the first knot that begins to loosen. If you're ready, I'm going to share secret number 1 with you now. Careful though, because once you hear it, you may never look at your home the same way again. I once asked a professional organizer, why do you never ask your clients who they want to become in the next 10 years? She smiled and answered, Frank, that's too deep of a question. Clients don't hire us to be philosophical. They hire us to organize. And that's exactly why this first secret never makes it into their services, because it doesn't give clients a tidy space right away. But it does make sure they won't need to call back next week. Secret number 1, the future self method. Most older adults don't hold on to things because they're stingy. They hold on because they're deciding based on memories, not the future. They ask, "I wore this dress when my husband was still alive. This dinner set was for old friends. This couch, that's where the kids used to pile up." All those questions are rooted in a past that's already gone. But the question no one ever taught you to ask is, how do I want to live in the final 10 years of my life? Do I still need these things in the life I'm moving toward? I've seen something incredible happen when an older adult is invited to write out the future version of themselves. Agnes was one of them. She wrote, "I want to live gently. I want space to sip tea each morning. I want to host warm dinners with friends. And I want to try watercolor painting again, something I gave up in my 30s. Just those few lines changed how she saw her whole house. Because now, when she picked something up, she no longer asked, "What did I use this for?" Instead, she asked, "Does this fit the person I'm becoming?" Professional organizers often avoid teaching this because it doesn't sell bins. It doesn't help you label things. It doesn't fold clothes the Japanese way. But it helps you make real decisions. Not out of guilt, not out of nostalgia, but from one clear place. I choose to keep only what serves the person I want to become. Try this today. Grab a pen and paper. Write a short paragraph. How do I want to live in the next 10 years? It doesn't have to be eloquent, just be honest, just be clear. And once you finish writing, I promise you'll look at your kitchen, your closet, your garage with completely new eyes. Remember, not everything needs to be reorganized. Many things simply no longer belong to you, not because they're broken, but because they no longer serve the person you're becoming. If you're ready, I'll now share secret number 2, one of the most misunderstood truths among older adults. You're keeping a lot of things because you hope your kids or grandkids will want them. But the reality is 65% of them don't want any of it. Have you ever asked yourself that? If not, keep going with me into the next part. I won't sugarcoat it. 65% of adult children don't want to inherit their parents' belongings. That's a real number. From a survey by the National Association of Senior Move Managers. And here's the thing, most professional organizers already know this. But they don't tell you. Why? Because if you knew your kids don't need what you're keeping, you'd let go of it quickly. And you wouldn't need that next consultation. I've seen it many times. Parents like Agnes keep dozens of memory boxes, her mother's dinnerware, her son's old report cards, even her late father-in-law's shirt from the 1960s. Agnes said, "I'm saving them for the kids. One day, they'll want them." But when I asked, "Have you ever asked them directly?" she went quiet. And that silence is exactly what gave birth to secret number 2, which I call legacy timeline technique. Instead of keeping everything for someday, start choosing intentionally. What to use now, what to document, what to pass on, and what to release. I suggested Agnes do 3 things, and I hope you'll try them too. Step 1. Sort your belongings into 3 groups. 1. Use now. These are the things that still bring you joy or life. Hang them up. Set them out. Use them. Don't tuck them away again. 2. Digitize and release old photos, handwritten letters, postcards. Take pictures, scan them, save them on a USB or print a small album. 3. Pass down now. Don't wait until you're no longer here. Invite your children over and ask them, out of all the things I've held on to, which one matters most to you? Step 2. Host a legacy lunch. Agnes made a simple lunch and invited her 2 daughters. She laid out a few items on the table: old paintings, lace cloths, photo albums, a fountain pen, a porcelain teapot. She said, "Today I want you to pick the items that truly hold meaning. The rest I'll take care of." The result surprised her. One daughter kept only 2 photos and a silver spoon. The other just wanted the handwritten recipe for amaranth soup. No one took the fine china. No one kept the vintage lamp. But both teared up, holding a small item tied to a memory. Step 3. Shift from holding on to handing down. Agnes scanned every family photo. She created a digital album and sent it to everyone. The letters, notes, and old memories. She rewrote them and glued them into a journal titled My Younger Years. She didn't expect anyone to read it. She simply wanted to know, I'm not losing my past. I'm transforming it into a new form. And you know what? After that day, Agnes had cleared 10 full boxes. No one cried. No one argued. There was only one very light feeling. I'm no longer holding on for others. I'm living my own life now. Are you still holding on to things for your children or grandchildren? Have you ever asked them directly, or are you just assuming? Do you believe that holding on is love? But handing down at the right time is mature love. If you've ever been through a moment like that, share in the comments. What did you hold on to, and how did your child respond? I truly believe your story could help someone else let go of a bit of their past today. If you're ready, I'll now share secret number 3. One of the things professionals intentionally avoid. It's not the objects you're holding on to. It's the unspoken emotions that are clinging to you. And only when you transform those emotions can you truly declutter your home. Are you ready? This part makes many people hesitate. Not because they don't understand, but because it touches something they've been avoiding for years. I once asked a professional organizer, "Do you ever ask clients why they're holding on to something?" She answered, "No, Frank. If we ask that, they won't declutter, because once they start telling the story, they cry, and we lose time." That's why this 3rd secret is never mentioned in books about organizing. Because to touch emotion is to touch the very thing that keeps older adults from letting go. Most seniors don't keep things because they need them. They keep them because it's the last tangible piece of a memory they have. A shirt their husband used to wear, a school bag their daughter once carried, an unfinished painting from a grandchild who passed away, a rusty pair of scissors passed down from their father. You know what I mean. It's no longer useful, but you can't bring yourself to throw it away. Agnes once told me, "Frank, if I let go of his hammer, I'm afraid I'll forget how he used to live." That's when I told her about secret number 3, a truth hardly anyone teaches. Secret number 3, the emotional anchoring system. You don't have to keep everything to keep the love. You just need to keep the right item and give it a clear meaning. I told Agnes, keep 30 of his things, and you'll drown in memory. Keep one that truly represents him, and you'll have a strong anchor. She chose the hammer, hung it on the wall, with a photo of him smiling wearing a t-shirt holding a measuring tape. That's it. The rest. She let her kids each take one item. Every item came with a story. One grandson chose an old wrench, because Grandpa taught me to fix my bike with this. Another item. Agnes took a picture, wrote a short note, and placed it in her memory book. They were no longer just objects. They became part of a loving family story. And you can do the same. Sort your items into 3 groups. 1. Anchor item. Choose one single item. That represents a person, a memory, a chapter of life. 2. Shared memory. Let your loved ones choose something, tied to a moment they still remember. 3. Transformed memory. Take photos, write captions, turn them into albums, framed collections, or short videos. I once saw a woman make a patchwork quilt from 8 of her late husband's old shirts. She said, "Now I can wrap myself in our memories every night, without keeping his entire wardrobe." Organizers don't teach this because you can't measure it in square inches. You can't box it. You can't label it. But let me tell you, this is the most important part of truly decluttering your home. If you don't process the emotions, you'll just be shifting items from one spot to another, and the weight will follow you. So tell me, what is the one item you're holding on to? Because it holds a piece of your heart. Have you ever tried turning it into an emotional anchor? Or is it still sitting quietly heavy, waiting for someone brave enough to open that drawer? Share that one item in the comments. Just one. Let's help each other create emotional anchors. Strong, beautiful, and no longer keeping us stuck. If you're still here with me, get ready for the final secret. The only one that helps you keep your decluttering results permanently. Not just a clean house once, but a home that stays clear day after day. It doesn't rely on new shelves, new bins, or someone to help you. It works because you become the gentle guardian of your own space. Now tell me, what item in your home are you still holding on to, just because you're afraid of losing the memory? Write down just one, and if you can share what it represents in your heart. Because I believe your story might unlock someone else's burden, someone quietly carrying the past with no idea how to let it go. When you're ready, we'll move into the final secret. It's not about what you already own. It's about what you're letting into your home each day, and how to keep your home from slipping back into old clutter. Are you ready? I've seen many older adults accomplish what seemed impossible, clear out their home in a single week, feel light, feel free. But 6 months later, I'd return, and the clutter had almost all come back. Not because they didn't try, but because they focused only on clearing what they had, not on guarding what was coming in. This is something most professional organizers never teach it you, because if you learn how to stop the inflow, you won't need them anymore. You won't need more sessions. You won't need more bins or boxes. You won't need to start over every year. That's why I call this the lasting secret, and I named it Threshold Mastery Protocol. You see, every item that enters your home crosses a threshold, the front door, a shopping bag, a gift from your kids, a box someone asked you to keep. If you learn to guard that threshold, your home will never return to chaos. Here's what I taught Agnes, and what I invite you to try. Step 1. Identify your clutter type. Everyone has their reason for accumulating things. Which one are you? The emotional gatherer shops when sad, anxious, or lonely. The just-in-case saver loves to keep things. You never know, the sentimental keeper. Can't say no to gifts or items from children. The past living collector. Still buy as if they're 40, not 74. Agnes realized she was still buying things as if she were hosting dinner parties for 10, even though for the past 3 years she'd only had dinner with one close friend and her cat. Step 2. Create a threshold question. Every time something wants to enter your home, don't ask. Do I like this? Instead ask, does this serve me in my current life? If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to inside my home? Am I keeping this because I truly need it, or because I can't say no? Agnes taped these 3 questions to the inside of her cabinet door. She said, now I don't need anyone to stop me from buying something. I just need to ask myself more carefully before saying yes. Step 3. Set up a 48-hour waiting shelf. I told her to place a small shelf near the entrance and call it her pause zone. Anything new, whether it was a gift, an online order, or something from a neighbor, had to sit there for 48 hours before entering the house. If after 2 days she still felt it fit, she kept it. But if it was just a moment of impulse, she gave it away, returned it, or passed it on. And the result, Agnes didn't just stop new clutter from building up. She also saw herself more clearly, who she was, what she truly needed, and why sometimes she was the one bringing the weight back in. This is something no one teaches you, because the organizing industry depends on you staying overwhelmed. They treat the symptoms, but I want to help you treat the cause. Do you know your clutter weak spot are? Are you holding on to things for someone else, for your kids, for a friend, for a version of you from years ago? Share your clutter type in the comments. Just one, to start recognizing yourself, because awareness is always the first step toward change. If you've stayed with me this far, it means you're truly ready to reclaim your home and your life. These 4 secrets, you won't find them in books, not in organizing videos, and not in those 150 per hour service packages. I share them because I used to be just like you, living among nameless objects, thinking I was tidy, when really I was just putting off decisions. And when I finally learned to choose myself again, that's when I truly felt light. Not because my home was neat, but because my mind was finally free. You deserve that feeling. You don't need to be richer. You don't need anyone's permission. You just need to choose again, starting today. If something in today's message resonated with you, hit subscribe to Senior Life Reset. I'll be here every week to help you live simpler, lighter, and more fully, one day at a time. See you in the next video. My name is Frank, and I believe sometimes all it takes is one person who believes in you for you to believe in yourself again.